Hello, this is Brian. Today I want to welcome you to an episode of Spotlight on Trees. Today is August 24th, 2020. It is a Monday around noon. I'm parked on Angeles Crest Highway at Milemarker 29.00. About elevation, maybe about 2,500 feet roughly, it's an estimate. But I'm below 2,000 and 3,000 feet for sure. And today's episode of Spotlight on Trees is on a tree I've been wanting to spotlight for quite a while. It's called Bigleaf Maple, Acer macrophyllum. This is a tree, if you spend any time hiking in lower mountain, middle mountain canyons, especially steep ones with at least seasonal sources of water, not always, this is a tree you will come to find and come to love, hopefully, like I do. Acer macrophyllum is the scientific name for bigleaf maple, and Acer is the genus name for maple, as it is a true maple, and macrophyllum means large leaf in Greek. Why is it called bigleaf maple? Well, it has the largest leaves known to any species of maple. Now, I'm going to pick up a leaf and show you. Here's a bigleaf maple leaf, kind of typical shape, star shape, 5 major lobes, very typical. Medium green on both sides of the leaf. This is a fallen leaf, so it's going to be discolored a little bit. So, this leaf is actually more of a, maybe slightly larger than typical maple leaf, but considering we live in a drier climate here in Southern California, you'd expect the leaves to be a little bit smaller. But the leaves on this tree do get quite large. Sometimes they're more than a foot long, and like most maples, not every maple, like most maples, it is a winter-deciduous tree, meaning it sheds its leaves in autumn, it is leafless during the winter, and sprouts new leaves in the springtime. I had to climb up this little scree path from the highway here to get up to this. It's just kind of sketchy, so gotta take my time moving around here. Coming back down, this is not going to be fun. So, here's the trunk of bigleaf maple. Branches start off kind of smooth, and young trunks kind of start off smooth and light gray, but with age, eventually you get these narrow vertical fissures or furrows, and that's typical of bigleaf maple. Like a lot of the bigleaf maples in Southern California, they tend to be multi-trunked or forked very much near the base. This is a pretty large specimen here for Southern California, as we are in a drier climate than a lot of where this tree's range is. Basically ranging from central San Diego County up through the Sierra Nevada, probably the Coast Range, up into the Bay Area, and up into the Pacific Northwest. Now, stature-wise, this tree, this species ranges anything from a large thicket-forming shrub to a large tree. It's one of the largest species of maple trees in the world. I'm not sure if it's the actual largest, but it is one of the largest species of maple. Now, let's see. Let's see if I can find a seed. Okay, here we go. Just like other maples, their seeds are samaras. And here is an example right here. I'm going to try to hold it far enough away so you can see it in detail. That is a typical maple fruit, which is a samara. 2 wings, and then 2 seeds joined together at a stalk. That is what a bigleaf maple seed looks like. However, they tend to get a little hairier. This is a very old seed, probably from a year or 2 ago. So where the seeds are, they're very hairy. So if you pick them up, they might kind of itch your skin for a minute or two as you're touching it. The hairs are very bristly. One thing about bigleaf maple, and I apologize for the highway noises, I am very close to Angeles Crest Highway, is that bigleaf maples are not closely related to any other species of maple here in the West, to my knowledge. Here in Southern California, we have 3 species of maples that I know of. We have Acer macrophyllum, bigleaf maple, this guy here. We have Acer glabrum variety diffusum, which is the mountain maple, which is found, I believe, only in the San Bernardino National Forest, and then scattered in the Sierras and the Mojave National Preserve, and then found more widely as different varieties in the Rocky Mountain states. And then we got Acer negundo subspecies californicum, which is the box elder maple. And this is not closely related to any of those. So bigleaf maple, again, can form a large tree or a small thicket forming tree. And another interesting thing about bigleaf maple is its trunk has been known to yield the sap for making maple sugar. I don't believe yield is probably anywhere near Acer saccharum, the sugar maple of the eastern U.S., but it has been known to be used for making maple syrup. When the sap rises in the spring, the trees sometimes are tapped. I don't know if this tree ever gets tapped here, but I highly doubt it. But you can use this tree for maple syrup. So, occasionally it does. So, another big thing about the bigleaf maple is its elevation range. The elevation range is found from maybe just above sea level, especially further up north. Here it's mostly in, in the lower foothills, up to maybe about 7,000 feet here in Southern California. I've seen it as high as maybe about 7,200 feet along Highway 18 west of Big Bear, right before you get to Big Bear Lakes Junction with a 38. I've seen a few of those in some of the canyons along the highway, but it's a lot more prevalent below 6,000 feet. You also find these above 6,000 feet near Vincent Gap. If you go down Big Rock Creek Road from Vincent Gap, you'll see a lot of maples and stuff like that. So fall color on the bigleaf maple is mostly going to be yellow. That's what you can expect mostly with bigleaf maple. A lot of times it's kind of a clear, sometimes lemony yellow, very pleasant. Maybe orange. You might get orange on it. I doubt that red is one of the fall colors of this tree. If you've seen bigleaf maple that has gotten reddish hues on it, please let me know in the comments. Or if you have a video of it, please send me the link. I'd like to see it. But here in Southern California, mostly it's going to be a pretty pleasant yellow, which is actually the most common fall color here in Southern California. But I want to show this tree because it has such a beautiful, beautiful canopy. It's just such a wide-spreading tree. As for habitats, bigleaf maple, it is a large thin leaf tree. What does that mean? The tree transpires a lot. With larger surface area, the tree loses a lot of moisture through evaporation and transpiration as it's photosynthesizing. What that means is that it's going to prefer moister habitats in our dry climate. So here we are. We'll probably get a lot of seasonal runoff here, and there's probably an underground water source, hence why we got bigleaf maple growing here pretty well. And so it prefers north-facing slopes, steep canyons, and also stream-side areas. A lot of times here you'll see it growing with canyon live oak, big cone Douglas fir, poison oak. You'll see it growing with coast live oak, interior live oak, California sycamore, Arizona ash, sometimes foothill ash, and sometimes a little bit higher up with ponderosa pine, Jeffrey pine, white fir, sugar pine in higher elevation mountains. Once you're getting closer to the 6,000 and 7,000 foot elevations, where those coniferous trees are a lot more prevalent than down here. And you can see a little big cone Douglas fir over there. In the Pacific Northwest, you'll see a lot with Pacific Douglas fir. You'll see it with redwood. You'll see it with Pacific madrones. You'll see it with California bay laurel, which you will also see with bay laurel down here. In fact, I shot an episode earlier about California bay laurel, so please keep an eye out for that one as well. But this is it. The beautiful, venerable bigleaf maple. Another thing about this tree is it's found on both the coastal side and even on the desert side of the mountains. I've seen it in Crothers. I've seen it near Crothers Canyon, along the Burkhardt Trail coming out of Devil's Punch Bowl, so you will find it on the desert side. I've seen it on the Antelope Valley side of Liebre Mountain in, is it Cow Canyon or something? When I lost the Pacific Crest Trail, I was hiking cross country down a canyon. There were thickets of bigleaf maple down there. So any place where you got good drainages or year-round water or underground water that's reliable, you can support bigleaf maple. Now at this elevation, it could tolerate temperatures into the 90s, and then it can tolerate temperatures probably close to zero, maybe in 10 degrees or close to zero because of its elevation. So there you have it. The bigleaf maple. Acer macrophyllum. Very awesome. You know, one last thing I want to note is that unlike most other species of maple that I know of, the flowers in the spring are fragrant. The flowers, I haven't smelled them myself, but I've read literature about them being fragrant. I've never put my nose close enough to a flower, probably because of bees. But the flowers are kind of greenish. They're born in these kind of decent-sized stalks. I think it's called a raceme, R-A-C-E-M-E. And you get these flowers, greenish color. They come out usually about slightly before or about the time the leaves start to opening up in the early to mid-spring months, depending on your elevation. And it's supposed to be fragrant. So I'm planning on doing this spotlight in installments because I want to show different seasons of this tree. So my next one will be probably sometime in October when this tree is in fall color, or whatever other tree I spotlight at the time. But I wanted to spotlight this tree because it's so beautiful. So there you have it. Acer macrophyllum, bigleaf maple. You're in Southern California's canyons and mountains, especially the larger mountain ranges. Go to a shady spot in a deep canyon. Chances are you'll find it. Santa Ynez Mountains, San Bernardino, San Gabriel Mountains, parts of the Los Padres National Forest, scattered in San Diego County, but very uncommon. Doesn't quite make it into Baja, to my knowledge. So keep an eye on it. Bigleaf maple, Acer macrophyllum. This was Brian's Spotlight on Trees. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish I could have gotten a little closer to some of the leaves, but the soil is very sketchy here, and I'm not taking any chances. But there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another episode of Spotlight on Trees, hopefully soon.